Our next speaker, good friend of mine. He is a former writer and reporter for Tucker Carlson, also reporter for the Daily Wire, and the senior reporter for National File, Patrick Howley. Give it up for Patrick Howley.
Woo!
Thank you very much. I just want to give a quick warning. I was outside, anyone staying here in the hotel, and I saw this woman, and she's covered in urine, and she reeks of alcohol, and she's at it, and she's saying, she's harassing people. She's saying, I used to have power, and everyone hates me now, and my career is over. And it's sad because I had never met Liz Cheney before. She's outside. Bye, Liz. See you later. No more Liz Cheney. This is USA Today, by the way, just a few minutes ago. This right before I came out here, and this is their actual headline. If I can pull it up, they're not too happy about the Republicans ousting Liz Cheney from leadership, and they have said that now, since ousting Liz Cheney. And this is the actual headline. After ousting Liz Cheney, Republicans prove they're a bigger threat than 9/11 hijackers. So there you go. You learn something new every day from the mainstream media. But I will tell you one thing, courtesy of my friends and other people, the America First Caucus is going to win a record-setting number of House seats in 2022 and pick our own speaker.
Woo!
Joe Biden, meanwhile, has decided that he wants to ban menthol cigarettes, including Newports, proving once and for all that Democrats truly hate the black man. I don't smoke Newports because that would be cultural appropriation. Our condolences to Bill and Melinda Gates. After many years of marriage, they are getting a divorce, but they have decided to share custody of Anthony Fauci. Fauci, I don't know if you saw Fauci trying to throw a baseball. I don't know why our health officials are the least healthy people in our society. These people have never been good, Jim. They're telling us about health. Biden's health lady there, Rachel Levine, I don't know if you've seen her. She looks a little bit like Melinda Gates. I can see why some of these people
He is saying it like it is. Oh.
The great thing is, now Melinda can sit around with her girlfriends, right? And she can talk about this crazy ex she had who was engineering mosquitoes and trying to block the sun, Oh, girl, that's nothing, My ex was drinking feces water. It was crazy. It is time, ladies and gentlemen, let me just say to everyone out there, it is time to stop the scandemic and open up America 100%.
Woo!
No more masks. I am sick. You know what I'm sick of? I am sick and tired of being ruled by the most sinister, crooked, Satan-worshipping, adrenochrome-drinking, subliterate psychopaths who want to put permanent slave masks on little kids. I'm not a slave, and they can go to hell.
Woo! Speak it.
According to the facts, that the CDC inflated the COVID death counts during the year 2020 by at least 1,600%. So while President Donald Trump was trying to save people's lives with hydroxychloroquine, the feds were going around raiding places that were serving intravenous vitamin C. They were trying to shut down hydroxychloroquine. The CDC was inflating the deaths by at least 1,600%, creating mass panic, and Trump still won the election. And make no mistake, Donald Trump won the election.
Yes, he did.
It's too bad because of COVID. Bohemian Grove, the place where all the elites go and get naked and run around in the woods, they had to cancel their ceremony this year. Nancy Pelosi's husband, Paul, is a big member of Bohemian Grove, so we hope that they were able to worship Moloch via Skype or Zoom. The New Yorker's Jeffrey Toobin got a head start on that. Maybe someone out there. No, this is a family show. It's a family show. Just not the kind of family show Ilhan Omar is used to. The Democrats are an embarrassment. And we are tired of these Democrats embarrassing us on the world stage. You've got Jerry Nadler who wears his pants up to his nipples. He looks like the penguin. He wanders around. It's an embarrassment. People in China are laughing at us. Okay? You've got all of these idiots out there who are enforcing the masks on us, and you see their Twitter profiles there. Karen proudly wears a mask. Karen proudly eats the bugs. That's the next one. They want you to eat insects. These idiots would rather bring back human slavery in Libya and literally bring on the Antichrist of Joe Biden than watch our president make funny tweets on Twitter. That's what these idiots would rather do. We're sick and tired of it. We are sick and tired of it, ladies and gentlemen. All the left is about is just embracing as much human degradation and human slavery as possible. My grandfather was a bit of a JFK Democrat, and he would be embarrassed by what the Democrat Party has become. And let me just say, since he died, he only voted for the Democrats 4 times this year. I want to give a shout out to my homies who are in jail, like Big Alaska. Biggs, well, he's not in jail, he's out now. But he's probably, he's facing some prison time, and all the good people on January 6th who were set up after the police allowed everybody to go into the building and then blow up them. It was the biggest setup, it was the biggest fraud I've ever seen in my entire life. So, and that is really the issue. And that's really the issue that I'm working on overall here is the weaponization of law enforcement, the weaponization of the courts, the weaponization of the activist judges. I mean, what is it going to take for the FBI to investigate some jihadist terrorists in this country who go around and shoot people? Okay, you can have a guy there in a turban holding the nuclear code, screaming Allahu Akbar. The FBI would be like, yeah, all right. Hey, some Trump grandma posted a meme on Facebook. Get her, get her. This is ridiculous. So, little grandma Applebaum is, going to end up on America's Most Wanted for posting Trump memes. We have seen the corruption of our intelligence agencies, the corruption of the FBI, and the activist courts. And make no mistake, the judges who have almost total power in this country are the worst thing in this country, worse than the media, even worse than the colleges. They are driving us to ruin with their activism and their totalitarianism. They're horrible people. For one example, you have Judge Dale Cohen in Florida, a Jeb Bush appointee, so we're talking about the Republicans here, who seized a child away from her mother because the mother was caught on social media not wearing a mask. Now, after we exposed a tape of this man talking about his bias against so-called anti-maskers, he was forced to recuse himself from the case. This is a good step forward in the right direction. But you also have the family court judges, and this is really the big issue that going forward that I'm going to be working on, which is the fact that the family court judges are human trafficking little kids. I think everybody knows that through Child Protective Services. They are seizing the kids to Child Protective Services with no, reason whatsoever. Even Nancy Pelosi's son, Paul Pelosi Jr., got the kids taken away from his ex-girlfriend just to be vindictive to her because he has so much power in CPS and the system in California, which of course Nancy Pelosi lords over. Nancy Pelosi, who is a Borrell real estate company, rents office space to First Five, which is basically rigging the whole CPS system, and was designed in San Mateo, California. The chapter that rents office space personally from Nancy Pelosi. It was designed by a pedophile named Dr. William Ayers, who was molesting kids at his doctor's office after the school would send the kids over to go see Dr. Ayers, you're depressed. And he would molest them in his office. This was going on for years, everybody knew about it. Nancy Pelosi was personally renting them office. Lording over this ridiculous nonsense. Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen, it's getting bad out there. It is getting bad out there. Much like George Floyd, I can't breathe. However, I don't know what the George Floyd hologram has to say about any of this. The George Floyd hologram just kind of like travels around the country judging us, just silently judging us. But I will tell you this. Liz Cheney, who's outside, drunk in state, she's not going to be one of our leaders anymore. I'll tell you another thing. Kevin McCarthy ain't going to be one of our leaders anymore either.
Woo!
We are going to win more seats in the 2022 midterm than any insurgent populist movement has ever won in the history of this country. We're going to pick our own speaker, and then Donald Trump's going to win a third term.
Woo!
Awesome, man.
Speak it.
Howley, national policy out. What a stud.